The first step to being safe on the internet is by creating a strong, secure password. So today we're going to talk about why is that and how to do that. The reason why it's so important to have a safe and strong password is because if it's not, then hackers can easily guess it. This means that they can access all of your accounts, your private information, and very important information, such as your bank account and your credit card information. This is why having a safe password is very important and the first step to being safe online. So, there's 5 steps in creating a safe password. The first step is going to be length. The longer your password, the more difficult it will be to guess. I would say anywhere between 10 to 20 characters is a pretty good length. You just don't really want something that's that short. Even though it may seem convenient, in the long run, it's not. The second step is numbers. So you can add numbers to your password, but it's important to think about those numbers. You don't want to add just 1, 2, 3, 4 at the end of your password and call it safe, because it's not. It's really easy to guess. So you want to add random numbers, numbers in a sequence that don't really make sense. This is going to make it less easy to guess. The third step is going to be letters. Not just any letters, though, uppercase letters. It is more difficult to guess a password the more uppercase characters that it has, so add those uppercase characters. The last step is going to be symbols. So you want to add symbols to your password. This can mean exclamation points, pound signs, any of those sorts. They're really going to help your password be even more secure. Now, some apps and some accounts might not let you, but if they do, it's a safe bet and you should probably do it. And the last thing that you should do when making your password is not use any well known information. So, what this means is don't use your name in your password, don't use your birth year, don't use things that are very easy to guess. A lot of people, and myself included when I was younger, tend to have a habit of using the same password for all of their accounts, whether that be their bank, their Facebook, their school. It just seems so convenient and easy to use the same password for everything. And this is a really big no-no when it comes to being safe. The reason why is because when you use the same password for everything and one of these websites has a data breach, that means that now your password is out there, but it's not just for that one website, it's now for everything. So that is why you should not use the same password for all of your accounts. You want to make sure it's varied. Use different ones for different things, and especially with stuff that has sensitive data like your bank account, you really want to make sure those passwords are extra secure. So now we're going to go ahead and give a little quiz. I'm going to ask you 10 questions, and I will tell you if your answers are right or wrong. Basically, the goal of this quiz is to see, is this password safe or not? So, first question, is this password safe? I like cats 321. I'm going to go ahead and give you a couple seconds to think about it and answer. If you said this password is not safe, you are correct. There are no uppercase letters, the numbers are sequential, and it's a very simple password. To help demonstrate my point, I am using the website Password Monster. This website is going to tell you how long it will take for a hacker to guess your password. And with this example, it would take less than 5 minutes to guess. As it states, it uses dictionary words, it's common, and there's a sequence of characters. It is a very weak password. Question 2. Is this password secure? Again, I'm going to give you a couple seconds to go ahead and answer. So, yeah, this password is actually secure. There are a bunch of random letters, some are uppercase, and even though it does have the word cat in there, it's still thrown in this sandwich of randomness. The numbers are random, and it even includes an exclamation point. And again, to demonstrate this, according to this website, it would take 5,000 years to guess this password. So I would say this is a very safe bet. As you can see, it's got the lowercase, uppercase, numbers, and symbols. So the next question is this password safe? And again, this one is not safe. I went ahead and I used my name and my birthday, which, even though the password does have some length to it, that is super easy to guess. And again, according to Password Monster, it would take less than an hour to guess. So, despite the fact that it is long, because there is a name in it and a birth year, that makes it a very easy password. All right, question 4, is this password safe? If you answered it is safe, you would be correct. I pretty much just put together a couple of random uppercase letters, some numbers, some symbol, even threw in a pretty common dictionary word, but this one is safe. It's random. There is nothing that is sequential about it, nothing that seems typical. And this website says it would take 54 centuries to crack. So I would say this is our best password created so far. Question number 5 is, are all passwords of equal length created equal? And the answer to this is actually no, they are not. So you can have two passwords that have the same amount of characters, but that doesn't mean they're going to be equally as secure. And to show this, I'm going to have two passwords that are both 15 characters, but one is secure and one is not. So this one that just says, I like cats so much, is medium length, meaning it's gonna take 6 hours to crack. It's somewhat safe, but it's really not that safe. 6 hours is basically nothing. Even though it is somewhat long, it is very simple and has zero variation in it. Whereas this one, that is the same amount of characters, has tons of variation. It has numbers, it's got random symbols thrown in there, and this one would take 4 months to crack. So even though length does matter, it's what you do with that length. All right, for the last 5 questions, we're going to go over some other ways to be safe when it comes to your passwords. So, question number 6 is it safe to let websites and apps remember your password? And if you guessed no, it is not safe, you are right. Even though it is super convenient to let your website or app just remember it for the next time you go to it, it is not actually safe. And the reason why is because the website is able to remember and store that password for future use for you. This means that if you already have any sort of malware on your computer, it can actually steal that. If there's any sort of interception between your communication between your computer and the server, then a hacker can grab that. So don't let websites remember your password. Number 7 is, what is the best way to remember and store your passwords? And this one can be kind of a back and forth. A lot of people, especially now, like to use password managers such as LastPass, which essentially is a big database where it lets you store all of your passwords for various apps and stuff. And while this is very convenient to use, it is vulnerable just like any other website, which means if it has any sort of data breach, now all of your passwords that were once super strong are out there for anyone to use. I would say the best way to store your passwords is physically. So write them down on a piece of paper and keep that paper somewhere safe. Keep it at home. This is going to be the best way to keep your passwords super secure. Number 8 is, should two-factor authentication be enabled if possible? And if you were to assume yes, you are correct. So two-factor authentication basically states that whenever you enter your password into a website, it won't actually let you in initially. It will send you another way to verify that it's actually you. Sometimes it will send you an email, asking you to enter a code. Sometimes it'll text your phone number asking you to enter a code. And this is a smart thing to do because even if your password is super strong, it can end up in a data breach. It can somehow be grabbed. So with this, your passwords may be used, but no one will be able to get into your account because of your two-factor authentication. Number 9 is face recognition or fingerprint as safe as a strong password? And this one is a little tricky because it's actually not as safe. Even though it may seem like it because no one else is going to have your fingerprint or no one else is going to have your face, this isn't really that safe. If someone were to come up to you and force you to put your fingerprint on the scanner, or if you were sleeping and someone decided to scan your face, they could easily get into all of your apps. So, even though it is one of the most convenient ways to unlock your phone, it is not that safe. And finally, for the last question, should you ever share your password? And the obvious answer to this one is no, you should not. I've heard from some people that they like to have a certain someone that they share all their passwords with in case of something happening, like an accident, or if they were to pass away. And while that does make sense, you just really shouldn't ever share your password with anyone. Keep them to yourself and don't let anyone know what you are using. And this is how you're going to be able to stay safe online. So I hope that the next time you make a password, you make it strong, you make it secure, and think about safety before proceeding.